Shalom. All praise is due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elect, apostle, bishops, elders at Great Millstone, ever well. Shalom to like Ak Yaldir, doing his work in sincerity and truth, and not for vainglory, in season out of season. Shalom to the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of the nation of Israel, which are the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native American Seminole Indians scattered through the four corners of the earth. In the America, North America, South America, Central America, and scattered through the four corners of the earth. All right, I just want to bring this out. Watching a video of the Apostle Tahar about these women are filled with demons, okay, especially the black woman, you know, and West Indian Haitian women too, the Latinos and Native American women too, but especially so-called black woman, West Indian Haitian woman, okay, but mainly I'm focusing on the black woman, African American woman, as you would call them. He had brought out the scripture. This is Amos 7:17. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife, your woman, shall be an harlot in the city. In other words, she's going to be a hoe. Where's that city talking about? America. Okay, now their hoes, wherever they may be, the black, West Indian Haitian woman, right? Latino, Hispanic, Native American woman. But the city is talking about here in America. Okay, so she's going to be a hoe. And he read it, I believe he read it in the NIV and a couple of other versions of the Bible. Okay, I would have to go to the blue letter to get it, but I'm just gonna land back. I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in it. You know, a harlot, a hoe, a thought, 304, a smut. I mean, you know, whatever you want to call them, but that's what's gonna happen. You know, to who? To the nation of Israel. You know, to you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. But mainly the so-called black woman. Okay? Because you see how they dress, right? You know, it's basically, you can see everything. You know, you can see their camel toe. You can see they're wearing lingerie. You know, they're wearing see-through shirts. You can see the shape of their body, especially when you go to the gym. You know, because I know that's the thing. You know, there were women were calling men creeps at the gym because they would dress. The women would dress provocatively, and the men would look at them and they would call them creeps, right? And weird and all this stuff. You know, so, you know, you can see what's happening here, you know. You got OnlyFans. I mean, you got, it's just a whole lot of stuff, man, you know. And that's just the prophecy that's happening unto the men of the nation of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city. And that's the truth, you know. All right, that's the truth. You know how these women dress, man. I'm talking about the women of our people, the women of our nation. Okay? Especially the black woman. All right? And you see the West Indian Haitian women and Latino women doing it too. All right, so let me go to a scripture right quick, since she's going to be a harlot in the city, because, you know, we've all dealt with women that committed adultery on us, man, or, you know, that went from man to man to man to man to man to man to man, you know, before they got with us. All right. Okay, so let's go to the book of Proverbs, the 30th chapter and the 20th verse. All right. Okay. You know, the black woman, she's completely out of line, man. She's completely demon possessed filled, man. Okay. She's a goddamn nymphomaniac. All right. 20. You know, and we've all dealt with women like this. Okay. We've all had situations where you found out that your woman was your wife, if you know, whatever you want to call her, your woman, your girlfriend, you know, that they was committing adultery on you. Okay, they had another dude or two or three or four or five on the sideline on you. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. You know, and you've seen time and time again, you know, so-called black man, he'll be raising kids with this woman that he's with and thinking that those are his sons and daughters, and he comes to find out that those are not his sons and daughters, you know, and you see it over and over and over and over again. Okay, such is the way of an adulterous woman. Now the scriptures say that wife is going to be a harlot in the city, but she'll come and tell you she ain't did shit. You know, I learned this from the apostles, and even the apostle Tahar said this years ago. The apostle Gabar, apostle Rakar, you know, the apostle Ramlab, the bishops. Look, if your wife is going on a girls' trip with the girls, well, you already know what they're doing, man. They're going out there to have relations with other men. You know, we all know this as a fact. You got the simps out there that trust in their women, but a lot of men are waking up. A lot of so-called black men are waking up, man. You know, and the reason why I say the black woman first and foremost, because she's the worst off. You know, then you got the West Indian woman, the Haitian woman, then you got the Latin woman and the Hispanic woman and the Native American woman. Okay, but the black woman being the most outspoken about doing whatever the hell she want to do. All right. Okay, so let's go to two more scriptures. Ezekiel, excuse me, not Ezekiel. In the Apocrypha, the book of Ecclesiasticus. Okay. I just wanted to land back off of what the Apostle Tahar was breaking down, going to the scriptures about these women, the women of our nation, okay? So-called black, West Indian, Haitian women, Latino and Native American women, Hispanic women, all right? Okay. That would be Ecclesiasticus 26th chapter, and I'll start at the 9th verse. It says, "The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids." So this whole thing about you can't judge a book by its cover, that's bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you see a woman dressed like a HO, okay, then you could tell what this woman is about. Point blank. In her haughty looks and in her eyelids. Okay? All right? It says, "If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty." It says, "Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee," because that's going to happen. Your woman is going to go off on you, man. All right? Now, this is the point that I want to make. This is the 12th chapter. She, the black woman, first and foremost, okay? All right? The African American woman, all right? It says, "She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he have found a fountain." Man, basically, everybody gonna be hitting that. "And drink of every water near her." Yeah, so you know how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? She'd have been ran through, trains ran on her. You know, she got 10 dudes on the side, you know. All right? Sukiana, Sexy Red, Cardi B, you know, all these thirsty broads, man. Okay? By every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, if you can't understand that, well then you don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And open her quiver against every arrow. Everybody's going to be hitting that. And especially when it comes to the so-called African American FBA woman, man. All right? Right along with the West Indian and Haitian woman, they're just as big as whores as the so-called African American woman, the FBA woman. And the Latino and Native American woman, they right behind her on that, man. You know? I'm just mainly focusing on the black woman. Okay? The FBA woman. All right? So, you got to watch out for these women. Now, is that every so-called African American woman? Is that every so-called FBA woman? No. But 99.9% of them are on that tip. You know, you have a few ones that treat you decent, but it's far and few between. I'm talking about the so-called FBA, Foundational Black American Woman. Okay? It ain't every one of them. It's just 99.9% of them. All right? So I hope you've been edified. And watch out for the so-called black woman, bro. You know, personally, you know, I wouldn't deal with the so-called black woman, but, you know, just watch out for these so-called black women, yo. Hope you've been edified, and with that, shalom.